Thoughts on the EA Disney rumors? I mean, like, you know, one of the worst companies in the world buying another one of the worst companies in the world. I mean, I guess it doesn't sound good, but it's like, will it make it better or worse for EA? It's like, I don't know, flip a coin. Maybe they deserve each other. I don't know. Like, EA, what have they done lately that I've enjoyed? Because I think they put out something that I did. Oh, Dead Space. Yeah, Dead Space. Yeah, I hate it. Now I hate it because they have some people over there making good stuff. And hey, if Titanfall 3 gets announced next week, like we think it might, then it might really hurt Titanfall 3 from happening at all, really. But if not, then from coming out and being good, because I don't know, man. Disney, they have a unique ability to just poison everything they touch. Now, I mean, maybe now that they've lost like $10 billion or whatever it was, then, or probably more than that, actually. I was doing that as a... I should have just made up a silly word number to like $10 gajillion over the strike and everything, because none of their stuff has been making money except for... Honestly, I can't even... I'm not even doing that for comedic effect. I can't even think of the last Disney project. Oh, Avatar, I guess. Avatar, because technically Fox is owned by Disney. It's probably the last Disney movie that made like a bunch of money. I don't think that's being inaccurate either. Like, I don't know. I just can't think of one. Because it's not been a Marvel movie, and there hasn't been a Star Wars movie since Rise of Skywalker, so... I guess if you want to make the claim that Rise of Skywalker is actually brilliant and people loved it, I'd be like, okay. Sure, buddy. I'll take your word for it. Nope, no, I don't need an explanation. It's fine. I believe you. You're correct. We're all wrong. It's okay. I feel like I can't even seriously address someone who thinks The Rise of Skywalker is good. Like, Last Jedi, I kind of think I could, because it's like, well, you know, there's enough of them that I feel like I can talk to them, and maybe they might be reasonable about some things. But I think if you think The Rise of Skywalker is good, I don't think you care about anything in movie making at all. Like, nothing. I don't think you give a about any of it, because I honestly can't think of anything that was particularly good. Not a single element of it. The visual effects weren't the thing. Definitely wasn't the story. What was it, the performances? Even Oscar Isaac manages to be kind of in that movie. And he's great. It's not an insult to Oscar Isaac, by the way. It's a compliment, because I was so surprised that he did not seem to be one of the incredible actors in the movie that it didn't make sense to me. The only people who somewhat defended Rise of Skywalker are those who hated TLJ so much they well, I mean, I don't think that's valid. You know, like, it's like, I think if you're just like, well, I hate Last Jedi the most, so I'm even gonna say Rise of Skywalker is better. It's like, I don't think you can even, it's not even worth comparing them. They're both bad, but Rise of Skywalker is the one that's like, I don't even know what you think you saw in it. Like, I don't know. Whereas, I mean, I guess I kind of get it for Last Jedi. Like, if you hate Star Wars, Last Jedi is a pretty cool movie, I suppose. Like, if you really get a good kick out of, like, I just love that all those toxic man babies saw their hero fall. Because you know what? All heroes fall. Have I ever told you about my dad? Like, it's all... that's all I was hearing from any of that. But I guess those, you know, lots of those people exist. So, sure. Yeah, I can understand that you're a person. If you say Rise of Skywalker is a good movie, I'm just like, what are we even talking about here? Like, what is your position? Because I don't know what you watched, but I didn't watch anything resembling a good film, never mind a good Star Wars film. And yeah, before, that used to not be a crazy thing to say, because Star Wars films tended to be all right. And I guess, like, I mean, tended to be in the first three, I suppose. I guess the prequels, a lot of people had problems with. I was fine with them, but, you know, I was a teenager when they came out. I was like 14 when episode 1 came out, so... I feel like that might have tinted my perspective on them initially, and while I've grown to appreciate things about them since that I guess I wasn't really tracking initially, I also think that they're not fantastic. So I don't know if that puts me in the prequel movies bad camp, because I do enjoy them. I don't really enjoy most of episode 1, but I do enjoy the ending of episode 1, and I enjoy Liam Neeson's performance and the pod race. I don't really enjoy most of the dialogue in between all of those things. Like, anytime it's anyone other than Liam Neeson speaking, maybe Ewan McGregor, but he's kind of vanilla in episode 1, you know, like he actually doesn't do a whole lot until Qui-Gon dies, which, I mean, I swear to God, if anyone says spoilers for Phantom Menace to me, yeah, Qui-Gon dies, okay? I know that everyone at Lucasfilm forgot that a penetrating chest wound with a lightsaber will kill you, but Lucas didn't forget that, and I remember. I did like episode 2 quite a bit, actually. I think that people incorrectly call that one the worst, and I thought Revenge of the Sith was quite good, but I'm not a, hey, no, the prequels are secretly masterpieces. I'm like, I don't know, let's not go that far. I feel like that's going to be a hard position to maintain for very long, because those movies do have a lot of issues, and I think pretending they don't is, it weakens your position on other things. Like, for example, what they should be doing in order to make Star Wars good, because people are like, oh, you got to just make them like the prequels. I'm like, yeah, guys, let's aim a little bit higher on the execution. Even if you're right on target for the concept level, like, hey, let's actually try to tell a story that's appreciably different than anything that we've already done. Even though everyone knows the ending to this arc, we still have to make it a story, and it still has to make sense, and it doesn't just have to be a bunch of things happen and then Darth Vader fights Obi-Wan at a volcano. You could probably make the argument that that is how the prequels go, but I think that's an uncharitable look at the prequels, because they're a little bit better than just that. You don't even say better, because then the person would be like, yeah, well, see, now you're assuming that I think the prequels are good at all and I think they're terrible. I'd be like, no, not better. Make it that they tell a story, and ultimately, if you say that they don't tell a story at all that has thought put into it, and that George Lucas actually tried to make good, because I don't think he just it out. It doesn't seem like that. It seems like he really thought that he made good movies. Like, and I mean, again, agree or disagree with him, and that's always your choice when anyone says they made an artistic product that was good, be it George Lucas or Director X, you know? And if you don't know who that is, I guess, I don't know, watch anything that's been going on with, like, Gary and Haz and stuff in the last little bit. Remember when I would watch Star Wars as a kid, the Clone Wars got mentioned, and I could only imagine what those were. My assumptions, they were Jedi fighting clones of other Jedi. Yeah, no, that's I think what most of us thought. And I also think that it was like I mean, I guess I always used to think that it was probably like an Invasion of the Body Snatchers type situation, or The Thing. Probably a better example, where you don't know if the person you're talking to is Obi-Wan Kenobi or a clone of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and they're actually like really perfect. So a lot of the war was kind of Cold War stuff almost, because espionage was actually more effective than all-out war. But I mean, I guess them saying like, yeah, well, what if the stormtroopers were the clones? I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Like, I mean, I guess like it kind of didn't suck entirely. I was like, well, I mean, I guess that would make sense. But then they made it so that, okay, but not the clone, not the modern stormtroopers though. They're not clones. So I'm like, oh, okay. I almost think kind of steps on that whole concept a little, because why have them look basically the same but not be anything alike? And also, it would make X-ray girls. God, there's a mix-up. It would make Leia's assumption that Luke was too short to be, and that's probably why I thought it, that Luke was too short to be a stormtrooper, actually have some weight, because it's like, aren't you a little short to be a stormtrooper? And she's talking like, yeah, I get that you're just a guy in a stormtrooper outfit, because stormtroopers are all 6'3". Exactly. Like spot on, because they're all clones of the same dude. I always thought that when I saw the clones in Attack of the Clones for the first time, I was like, oh, so they're the stormtroopers. And I mean on Kamino, not like at the end of the movie, because it's like, okay, I get what they're doing here, because hey, that clone armor looks suspiciously familiar to stormtroopers, so maybe this is how they happened. Maybe that's why the Emperor has such a great, huge army that never seems to lose supply. And remember, there was a time where Imperial stormtroopers were supposed to be like very known for being very accurate. Taika Waititi's the one that's like, yeah, well, everyone knows the stormtroopers suck, so wouldn't it be cool if we just had them suck? And we're like, yeah, that's pretty much typical. They suck, you know, so Haha, stormtroopers, they shoot bad. Make way for the Jedi. It's like, well, I don't know that anyone really views Star Wars in those framing, with that framing, Taika. Like, maybe except for you. It's because I get it, you know, he's a New Zealand comedy guy. He's like Flight of the Conchords type stuff. That's his crew, which, I mean, you know, fair enough. I think those guys are funny. I thought his movie What We Do in the Shadows was really funny. But, I mean, I don't want him to make Star Wars and Marvel that funny. Really? Like, I mean, it's like, well, I guess if it fits, do it. Jojo Rabbit's good. I've not seen Jojo Rabbit, so that I couldn't tell you about. But I did like his movie What We Do in the Shadows. I know it's also a TV show now, I think. But it's funny. It's about these New Zealand vampires, and it's a very silly vampire story where Taika Waititi's character, he talks about this woman that he absolutely loves, and that he decided to just like stop killing people for her because he loves this lady so much. And you see a picture of her, and she's like 90 because he's been with her for like 70 years, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty funny. You know, you should stick to stuff like that. He should not be the guy that's like, okay, we need this guy to spice up Star Wars. That's, I don't think that's the right move. And ultimately, I think that's kind of the thing with Disney buying EA that is freaking people out. Because it's like, well, what have they done with everything else they bought in the last decade? Because it seemed positive for a bit, you know? Like, everyone was kind of happy to be like, hey, yeah, we're getting Star Wars, but it's going to be made by, you know, a guy who can at least shoot a good-looking movie, and hey, they're getting Lawrence Kasdan to help write it, so, you know, this could actually be something pretty awesome. Anyways, modern Star Wars pretty much totally sucks, with the exception of Andor, that I hate the fact that I have to encourage people to watch Andor, because I don't like defending Disney Star Wars.